Today I'm about to do something seriously gross, like seriously. I'm going to make a model of one of the creepiest monsters in movie history. It doesn't even have teeth and it's only the size of a small dog. But trust me, it's way scarier than Godzilla. I'm talking about the Facehugger from Aliens. But what makes it so disgusting and terrifying? How does human fear work? And why are we so freaked out by bugs, spiders and other creepy-crawlies? How do artists tap into our primal instincts to give us that adrenaline rush while we are safe in front of our screens? And will I be able to push through my own disgust and finish this model? This is a real challenge for me. Hit that subscribe button and let's get started!
We owe the creation of the Facehugger to Swiss artist H.R. Giger. When director Ridley Scott was working on the film Alien, he came across Giger's artwork and immediately brought him on board. Giger's art book Necronomicon featured women surrounded by mythical demons and giant worms. Giger's work is a fusion of biology and machinery, when it's hard to tell if you are looking at intestines or parts of alien spaceship. It's both alive and inanimate, terrifying yet mesmerizing. Giger's unique style was shaped by his childhood experiences. Like many boys, he was fascinated by the female form, but he also had a strong obsession with snakes, worms, larvae and other insects. The Facehugger was inspired by one of these creepy-crawlies. With scorpion-like tail and spider-like legs, these creatures have terrified humans for thousands of years, and this instinctive fear is deeply embedded in our subconscious. That fear gets even stronger when the creature moves quickly and can crawl up walls. But the creators didn't stop there. They added elements that tap into even deeper human fears. The fear of losing control of our own bodies and the fear of invasion. The Facehugger doesn't just attack its victim, it grabs their face, paralyzes them and takes away their will. Then it implants an embryo inside that will grow until it eventually kills its host. The victim might live normally for a while, but the end is inevitable, bringing to life yet another deep-seated human phobia. And now, want to get really freaked out? Facehuggers actually exist in the real world. They might look different and don't go after humans, but they are just as creepy as their movie counterpart. Take the multilidae wasp, for example. This little nightmare paralyzes a spider and then lays its eggs on its back. When the larvae hatch, they start eating the spider alive, using its body as an incubator until it eventually dies. Then there is Ophiocordyceps fungus, which infects ants and literally turns them into zombies. The fungus takes over the ant's nervous system and forces it to climb up the plants where it dies, allowing the fungus to spread its spores. And how about the parasitic worms that infect snails by entering their bodies through bird droppings, which the snails eat? The worm then takes over the snail's egg stalks, making them bright and attractive to birds. When a bird eats the snail, the worm continues its life cycle inside the bird. Why do these examples scare us so much? It's because they mess with the very fundamentals of our existence. When we come across parasites like this, we see a threat not just to our physical state, but to our very identity. The idea that something could take control of our bodies and turn us into tools for its own purpose taps into a deep, almost primal fear, and the Facehugger plays on this perfectly. Inspired by nature and our ancient fears, Giger didn't just create a monster, he created something that evokes a deep, almost primal terror. Thanks to its design, the Facehugger became a true cultural phenomenon. It's still one of the most recognizable monsters in film history. During the COVID pandemic, DIY Facehugger masks became super popular. Alright, you might be wondering, if it's so scary, why are we so drawn to it? Why do we keep watching horror movies? The Alien franchise alone had made over $1.5 billion at the box office. So why do we voluntarily put ourselves through fear and anxiety? The answer lies in our psychology. When we watch a horror movie or encounter something frightening, our body reacts as we were facing a real threat. Adrenaline starts pumping, our heart races and the blood rushes to our muscles. We are on high alert, ready to react. This response has been hardwired into us as a survival mechanism. But there is interesting part. When we know there is no actual danger, our brain starts to trick us. We experience all those psychological changes, but without any real risk. As a result, we can actually enjoy the process. This is what's known as an adrenaline rush. There is also social reasons why horror appeals to us. Fear becomes less scary when shared with others, and discussing our fears can help us cope with them, sometimes even turning them into something we can laugh about. Horror films can even act as a form of therapy. Experiencing fear in a safe environment can help us deal with real-life stresses and anxieties. When we confront fictional fears, our brain learns to manage its reactions and emotions. We go through scary moments on screen, and during this, our brain is training itself to make similar feelings in real life. For some, horror movies are a way to explore the darker sides of human nature. They help us better understand our own fears, recognize their roots, and maybe even find ways to overcome them. In a sense, by confronting horrors on screen, we're exploring ourselves, our limits, and our capabilities.
So, as I look at this facehugger, I wonder, how would I react if I actually came face to face with such a creature? These kind of thoughts are what make horror so compelling. They force us to consider what lurks in the depths of our minds and how we might deal with those dark sides. Alright, so I decided to take on the challenge and build a facehugger model with my own hands. It's going to be preserved in a jar, just like from the spaceship Nostromo. This is a super popular movie prop from the Alien universe. You can find tons of ready-made models on Etsy and AliExpress. At the premiere of Alien Romulus, theaters even offered a popcorn bucket that looked like one of these jars. Now, I'm going to have one too. And of course, I'll be putting my 3D printer to good use. Let's get started! There are plenty of facehugger 3D models available online, and here is the one I'll be printing. I'll leave a link to it in the description. I decided to make a smaller version, roughly 17 centimeters, so it would fit in a standard jar. The print consists of two parts. After printing, I rinse them in regular water, remove the supports and cure them under an ultraviolet lamp to make the model harder. Then I glue the parts together and cover the seam with UV resin. It's time to paint. To give the color depth and dimension, I start with the acrylics and then use pastels in various shades. Finally, I coat everything with clear UV resin to protect the model from light and water damage. The little creature is ready. Now onto the jar. Here's what it will look like. The glass jar will fit into the base and be sealed with a lid on top. I'm hiding on an LED lamp in the base. Time to print all the parts. The base is pretty large, so I divided it into 2 parts. I rinse them in water, remove all the supports and cure them. I glue the 2 parts of the base together with regular super glue. Then with UV resin used in manicures. It's thick and clear, perfect for filling white gaps. After curing it under the lamp, I sand it smooth. I spray paint the base in 2 colors with a metallic effect. I love how this color turned out. I paint the inside of the lid with a resin to protect it from water damage. I glue the little monster to the bottom of the jar so it doesn't move around. For coloring the water, I use freeze-dissolvable nitrofurazone tablets. Now it's time to assemble everything. I use a color-changing LED light with a remote. Insert it into the base, place the jar on top. They leave some residue, so I strain the water through a cloth.
Очень тяжело держать.
And there we have it. Let's call the kids over. Do you think they'll be scared?
Что это такое? Как вы здесь сделали?
Жидкость?
Да.
Это таблеточку цилиндр растворили.
кого-то к свету подойдет, не знаю.
Here it is, my little spider in a jar. This wasn't just a creative project, it was also a kind of challenge, where I had to confront some of my own fears and disgust. I think fears can be a powerful source of inspiration if you understand their nature better. Though, while making it, I did remind myself that it's all just pretend, like in the movies. I'm not sure if I use it as a bedside nightlight. Honestly, I've got enough of my own nightmares. But I'll definitely put it in the living room. It'll be something to talk about and to spook guests with. So, what do you think of my little spider? Creepy enough? Let me know in the comments what you're afraid of and how you deal with your fears. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. See you! Bye!